Hello, thank you very much for tuning in to this section of reads. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. I am currently doing in-person readings in Herkimer, New York. If you're interested, shoot me an email. I'll give you more details. I'm going to use the information like the decks and dice. I'm going to put that all below. Otherwise, you should be seeing this on YouTube channel James13 Wicca, so I don't forget that. If you're not, let me know. And the last thing is, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for tuning in this time, and let's go ahead and get into your reading. Hello, Aries. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Aries? I noticed the first thing I did was have to reorganize everything, which is very interesting. Oh, well, this is very interesting. Huh. I think I feel very fast. Very fast. Something is changing very fast. Okay, so starting right out, you got the Ten of Swords and the Lover's card, which is like, it's very hot and cold at the same time. Something's overdue. Something's overdue, and I feel like I don't like the way it's playing out, but I do want the resolution. I feel like that's what's going on here. I do not like how it's playing out. I do like where it's taking me, though. So it's kind of 6 to 1, half a dozen to the other. Very hot and cold. So I cringe at this analogy, but it's almost like I want more than enough money so they don't have to worry about paying for things anymore. But at the same time, it's kind of like the way I'm getting the money. It's almost like through somebody's passing that I really love, or like losing something. It's like the way I'm getting the money, I don't like that. Having the money, I do like that. I don't feel like I have control over this. And it's very, very like trying to make sense of what it's kind of trying to make sense of the world. And I feel like I can look back and understand how I got where I am. I feel like I have that. That might be another part of this that's kind of bothering me. Because I'm looking backwards, and you know, hindsight is 20/20. Typically. Not always, I know that. But like when I'm looking back, I'm like, I feel like I'm like parting the curtains, and I'm like, oh yeah, I see where, yeah. It's almost like realizing there were signs. I knew this, I knew that, but it's kind of like it didn't seem that important at the time, or maybe I thought I can correct that at the time, and it's like looking back, I'm like, why did I think I could correct that? Why did I think that would go a different way? It's different when you're there versus when you're in the current energy. Like when you were in a situation, it's like I made certain decisions, and at the time I feel like I need to respect it. At the time I thought I was making the right decision, or I thought I was going where I needed to go with it, and now I'm looking back and I'm like, I don't know why I thought that. It's giving yourself the respect to realize at the moment that you made whatever decision you made, you thought you were right, you know, and you are where you are now. That's a very interesting card. The way that they depict the Four of Wands in this deck, it's kind of redefining, like, what do you feel balanced with? What do you feel like? Usually I see it as a contract card, sometimes a marriage card. And the way these are kind of laying down here, it's kind of like, I need to be aware of what's around me. And what it's like, I have these supplies around me. What am I going to build with this? What am I going to create with this? And it's kind of like, this is what I have to make what I want. This is where I'm starting from. It's kind of like I've signed the contract. Now that I have what I have and this is mine, it's almost like signing the contract to buy a house. Now that it's mine, what do I want to do with it? Because it's mine now. And it's kind of like this situation is kind of like, yeah, I bought into this situation. It's mine now. I'm here now. What now that I know what it is, what do I want to do with it? And it's kind of like this is like the weather passing through. It's kind of looking at it like I can make I can try to get myself to believe that this will pass and that the situation is going to be okay. But I feel like I know that, like, I feel like whatever this is, a change is coming. I can either deal with it or I can just wait for it to deal with me. And I don't like either option. Dealing with it right now, I don't really like that. Waiting for it to deal with me, I really don't like that either. Um, the current energy is building. I feel like hopefully this is coming through and like to not beat yourself up for waiting if you're deciding to go that direction, because it feels like I'm just avoiding what I have to do. I'm just putting off what I have to do anyway. But in truth, you're building some type of equity here. You're building something where you might have more of an advantage if you wait it out a little bit. It's kind of like the trick of like, instead of seeing it like I'm just not dealing with what I need to deal with, kind of like I'm waiting for the possibilities to come forward so I can have a better strategy to survive through this or get through this in a way that's more helpful to me. It's kind of like I'm having a hard time with it because I partly feel like I'm just neglecting something, and I'm partly like, but wait, if I wait long enough, maybe something else will show up and give me an advantage. I'm kind of like balancing between the two. I feel like I'm holding back. This might be also why the Ten of Swords is showing up. I feel like I'm stifling myself. I'm suffocating myself with this situation because I kind of know what I need to do. I'm just waiting. And there's reasons for that. It might be to have a better vantage point. It might really be that. And it's kind of like, but it's, I feel like some of you might be like, yeah, but I don't see where that's stable. That's not like that's a hope. That's not a stability right now. That's like, I'm hoping something better shows up, but it's not something I'm guaranteed will. So I feel like there's a lot of conflict here. A lot of conflict emotionally. The end is coming for whatever this is. The death card is showing up. A lot of positive energy is coming at you all at once. Ironically, you might have conflict with that too. Yeah, ace. No, that's not the ace. What is that? That is the magician on the major die. And then the Ten of Swords being reversed. It's going. The Ten of Swords came in like this. Like, I'm releasing that Ten of Swords energy. The Death card comes in and like, what's done is done. It's like I can finally breathe again. It happened. Doesn't mean I like how it's happening, but there's also like this flood of positive energy, support, help. It could be, it's the Two of Cups. It can come in a lot of different ways, but I feel like a lot of positive energy is coming my way. Could be literal support. Okay. It was the magician coming forward too, by the way, saying that there's more to create here. When it finally happens and the death card shows up, I feel like I got to be careful to not be too at peace with it. It probably wouldn't be an advantage to be like, well, it's done. Let's just see how it shakes out from here. There seems to be this need to just kind of wait and watch and see what happens next. Because it's like, I don't really know where this is going to go yet, but I want to give it a chance to show me where it's going to go, and then I can make my decisions. It makes sense why you'd want to do that. I don't feel that being at your advantage. Something that might actually help you is something I feel like Aries is good at, but I feel like also, whatever the situation is, I'm used to waiting. I feel like I'm used to not moving forward. I almost feel like I've been trained to not move forward. What would actually help you is to like reconnect with your energy, reconnect with who you are, and move forward, and just, instead of waiting to see how it's going to pan out, just go where you want to go. Move forward to where you want to be. Start moving right away. Like, instead of going, all right, at least that's over. Let's see what they are going to do with what's left. Let's see what they're going to give me. Instead of doing that, going, okay, that's over. Now, this is where I wanted to go. Here we go. Packing up the car. Here I go. I'm out. I'm just going. I'm just leaving and I'm going where I want to go. Overcoming the obstacle, moving forward with your energy, answering the call to who you actually are, reconnecting to who you actually are. The energy is there. I just feel like I just have to commit myself to it. Like, all right, that's over. Where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? For some reason, I do feel like the situation might have trained you to be reserved and hold back more than maybe you would have 10 years ago, for example. And it's kind of like, that might be something that helps you get past this, actually. If I think to myself, maybe 10 or even 20 years ago, but depending on who you are, whatever works for you, if I was 10 years younger, 20 years younger, what would I have done at this point if I was that person still? What would I have done? And then ask yourself, okay, that's what I would have done. Why wouldn't I do that now? And just kind of like, why really wouldn't I have done it now? Because it might help you be like, well, actually, now that I think of it, I really would like to do it that way. And 20 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have done it that way. Why don't I just do it the way I want? Why don't I just make this my thing? Some of you might have the answer. The reason I don't want to do it that way again is because it does finish it off. And that might be really difficult. Whatever this means, whatever the situation is, it's kind of like, well, if I do it the way I would have 10 years ago, that would have this would have, I am just getting rid of it. It is finished. It is finito. And that might be hard because there is part of this that's kind of like accepting that whatever this is it's accepting that death card. It seems to be like a grieving process. And it's kind of like, maybe that's why I don't want to. And it's kind of like, I'm going into this new era and I'm planting a new seed. I'm starting from scratch. And I feel like by doing this, I'm planting a new seed I have to tend to, I have to build with, I have to wait for. It's a process. In the same token, the sooner I start the process, the sooner I get where I want. And there is some sadness with this of like, just stepping forward and leaving the past in the past and just going into the future. There is some sadness with that. But on the other side of that sadness, the sooner I start moving forward, the sooner I get into my new adventure, the sooner I get into this happiness in life again. There's a lot of, that's interesting. There's a lot of positive energy here. Again, it just, the sun card is waiting for you. The new adventure is waiting for you. If there's a grieving process with this, that's going to go the way it's going to go. I don't know what to say about that. But I do feel like if this reading is hitting, it might be healthier for you to keep your energy moving. The grieving process is going to be the grieving process, whatever that is for you. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's just going to play out the way it's going to play out. But by that energy continually moving, I feel like it helps you work out that energy. It helps keep that moving. It helps keep a more healthier energy for you. So I don't know if this makes sense, because I don't think it's going to shorten the grieving process for you, but it may make it more like, okay, now that that's over, I don't feel like I'm starting from square one. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, because other people, through whatever you're doing, might kind of pull back for a little while, but it still will move you forward. I don't know, this taking shelter with the sun card is like, certain people might just kind of avoid you for a while. Let that be what it's going to be. Let that happen the way it's going to happen. Don't let yourself worry about it if you don't have to. There is something with the grieving process. There's something I feel like I got to say with that. Because everybody grieves differently, you know? But some people, I understand, they need to sit with it for a while. Other people need to physically move for the energy to go healthy for them. I'm feeling like this might be something I would try to keep moving with it. See if that works for you. I don't know what you're dealing with. I mean, this is a general read. Keep that in mind. But I get that you're going to have points of this where the new era, the new energy, the new age is coming in. And I'm mourning what I've lost. I'm mourning what I'm leaving behind. But for something about keeping this energy active for you might be a healthy thing. It's something to consider. It's something to try. It's not something you have to do. I feel like that's obvious. But keeping the energy moving for Aries might create more of a healthy kind of like, I don't like this, but at least it's moving, at least it's healing, at least it's going somewhere. People deal with grieving in different ways. So it's something to try, not something you have to do. I hope it's coming across that way, because it's just saying it might be worth it. Because like, I know me personally, When my energy gets down, if I sit with it, it just seems to get heavier. But if I keep moving, it helps my brain keep moving, and I deal with stuff. Doesn't make the grieving process any less, but it does seem to move it forward quicker for me. It might be an opportunity for something to try. You don't have to do anything, but if it doesn't work that way for you, then don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because I feel like whatever's going on here, it's very hot and cold the whole way anyway, except until you get to the end. But it's kind of like, again, it started off that way. It's kind of like the way it's happening, I don't like it. The fact that it's the outcome I'm getting, I seem to be loving it. So it's kind of like whatever's changing, whatever's leaving, it's hard to say goodbye to something. But at the same time, it's centering on where things are going. It's kind of like getting that balance. It takes a lot of work. I do feel like, and I know this isn't probably fair to say it, the grieving process of whatever this is does seem like an active situation. There is some active motion through it to move on to the next energy. So it's kind of like, I hate this analogy, but when somebody passes away, it's kind of like if it was on your responsibility to clean out the house, it's like sooner or later you have to do it anyway. And it's kind of like, I've gone through this, where it's got to be done. And you can put it off, but it's not going to make you feel any better doing it a week later, a year later. It's kind of like, it's just one of those things. The sooner you get it done, the sooner you can move on with your life. It's hard to do. It's never not going to be hard to do. But, take it with a grain of salt. You got to do what feels right for you. It's just my opinion on that one. But that's my energy if you're relating to that. If that doesn't work for you, then don't do it. Again, I'm going to say that again because the grieving process is different for everybody. I feel like this is coming forward, like, maybe giving it a try, see where it goes. Because on the other side of this, better energy, much better energy. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.